Hi, this is Lisa Piper with Pastors Connect on Monday, October the 18th. I want to talk to you about something that the Lord showed me this morning during Colton and Lisa in the morning. I hope it blesses you. And I'm going to have to tell you a little weird story in order to get it, okay? First of all, some of you know that I own two betta fish, one at work and one at home. And I'm fairly a recent owner of a female fish. Let me introduce them to you. I've got some pictures here of Mr. Fancy Fins and Mrs. Fins. That's their names. Okay. All right. So over here on the left is Mr. Fancy Fins, and over on the right is Mrs. Fins. You can tell Mr. Fancy Fins has got this big plumage. He's just really pretty. And Mrs. Fins is kind of plain because the females are that way. Hey, Amber. Welcome to Pastors Connect. I've got my fish on here. The reason that I'm telling you about them before I tell you what God showed me is I wanted you to see how fancy and beautiful Mr. Fancy Fins is and how kind of plain, and she's really a little girl, Mrs. Fins is. So that's what those babies look like. Now, I've been used to having male bettas, and they kind of are temperamental, kind of fighters. I have to make sure they can't see themselves in the aquarium because they fight. Are the two that I've owned do that. And they kind of hide from me. They're a little bit hard to get to know. Well, I recently got this female, and she is amazing me because when I walk into the room, she immediately comes to the edge of the aquarium and can't wait for me just to talk to her, which is weird because it's a fish. And I thought, I usually work on my computer if I'm at home in the living room instead of the office because it's more comfortable. But I thought, she's sitting there, she wants to see me, so I'm just going to come in and she'll have some interaction. So I literally have moved from what I would be doing so that I could be near this silly fish. And the whole time I'm working, she's looking at me. If I move toward her, she gets so excited. So this has been a new thing of owning this female fish. So I'm worshiping this morning. Let me get to the point. I'm worshiping this morning. Hey, Debbie. And the Lord shows me a picture basically. And my heart has been so excited at seeing this little female fish, not because she's prettier, not because she's doing these fancy things, but because she wants to engage with me. It has made me do things that I typically wouldn't do. And it was like the Lord was saying that sometimes we think because we're not lovely, because we're not beautiful, because we're not fancy, that He would be less interested in us, when all He really wants is us to be engaged with Him. And just like I'd move what I was doing just to be near this silly fish because it enjoyed being near me, that's not unlike what God does as a father. Now look at Proverbs 8:17. It says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. There's other places that said when we seek him, we will find him. So with this piece of knowledge, what I'm thinking is that we need to have a paradigm shift in our mind that God's ways are higher than our ways. His standards, his what he thinks is wonderful is completely different. Well, maybe not so different because those of you that are dog owners, and when you get home, some of the humans may not be welcoming you, but that dog meets you at the door, is running around in circles. And doesn't that just make your day coming home just a little bit better? Well, perhaps when we come to church, we need to remember that the Lord inhabits the praises of his people, and that we need to literally transform the way that we come to him, not covered in shame, not hiding behind things, not thinking he's so great, he's this big thing, I better hide away, like Mr. Squirrely Fins does. But just to say, okay, God, here I am. I'm not the most beautiful. I'm not the most talented. I'm not the most anointed, but I'm excited to see you. And I think if we change how we think, when we come into his presence, it's going to give him more pleasure at being around us. He is going to frequent with his manifested glory more often. And we can only benefit from that. Isn't he sweet? Isn't he good? I think that he is, but it's beyond my comprehension that he would want to spend time with me just because I'm excited to see him, just because I want to look at him. You know what he wants to do? He wants to go, he wants to be where we can see him. He wants to be seen more than we want to see him. That is mind boggling to me. Well, that's all for Pastors Connect. I really just wanted to come on here and share what I felt like was the heart of God saying, come seek me. No matter what you look like, come seek me. Let's do that. And let's encounter the presence of our Creator and our Almighty God. Y'all have a great day.